Let's dance. The chair dance. I love it.
Yeah, you're making ballerinas do it.
Yeah, really. Let's get up and do some ballarobica.
That's right.
I just did that and my butt hurts now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys, this is going to be such a fun one. Let me go over here to the feed and make sure that we're seeing this in the Fit Pros Connect group, because I think you guys tell me in the comments, but I think things have been a little weird as far as when the Fit Pros show is showing up in the Fit Pros Connect group. It's like until I share it, it doesn't happen, even though I'm broadcasting from StreamYard. So yes, we are live at fitprosconnect.com, the page. And now I'm going to share this to the group just to make sure it's in there. You guys, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me in your living room. This is the Fit Pros Connect show. This is the interactive show that's created for fitness professionals to help us all engage, get information, get resources, and interact with each other. And so during the end of August, which is today, and through September and maybe longer, we're going to be talking all about different formats. And so I'm here with Lisa and Michaela from IBBFA, which is International
Ballet Bar Fitness Association.
Thank you, Ballet Bar Fitness Association. And they are going to talk just all kinds of things, and we're going to have lots of fun. But one of the things that we're going to talk about is teaching tandem online, which we have not done yet. And they also have a lot to say about audio quality, which is a big question and a big kind of focus that we have in the group. So you guys, first, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about Lisa and Michaela and about IBBFA and your specializations.
Sure. I'll start. So I will just say about IBBFA in general. I'm Michaela. I represent kind of the front side of things. So if you get any emails from IBBFA, they come from me. And I have been with the organization for 5-6 years now, and have been teaching bar for almost 10 years now. Grew up dancing, loved teaching children, but just couldn't deal with the dance moms anymore, but wanted some other way to kind of keep that active in my life. Mm-hmm. Teaching bar was definitely a hobby for me for the first 5 years. It was something that just kept me moving and was just probably where a lot of instructors are most of the time, right? We don't see as many full-time instructors, although we're about to turn a new page in the industry, and I think things have changed with that.
So true.
But, I really just fell in love with the fact that IBBFA as an organization was so ballet foundational, and that spoke to me as a dancer when I took bar classes back in the day from non-dancers or people that were not educated properly. It was like major red flags. I akin it to like when you go to a yoga class and they just straight up call it a wrong.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I hold on. Okay, there we go. I'm so sorry. There was another noise coming in.
That's okay. I heard it and wasn't sure if that was just on my end. The show goes on.
That's right.
That was something that I was really drawn to the organization and became a master instructor. I'm now one of our master instructor trainers. We really pour into our master instructors because we want them to be able to kind of speak, practice what we preach, and that we want all of our instructors to be able to teach on a freestyle basis. We're really pretty passionate about not providing just that class outline.
It happened again.
Speak, practice what with me a few seconds ago. Hello, past Michaela.
So I'm multitasking in that I'm trying to make sure that we're showing everywhere. And every time I click something, my voice starts coming back through the other speaker. I'm so sorry.
I have a trick for that, Kelly.
Tell me.
You plug your headphones into your phone, into your other device or whatever. And then even when it plays audio, you don't hear it.
Yes,
I've done there. I hear you.
And that's exactly what I need to do, because that's how I used to do it, is I would pull out the trusty iPad and then I would look at the feed from there.
Yes.
And then, okay. All right. So please continue. You were telling us about IBBFA, about about your history with bar.
Sure. So IBBFA, I'll just speak more broadly about the organization, and Lisa can tell you about her amazing history in the fitness industry.
And you're a group fitness instructor at AFA.
Yes, I'm an AFA group fitness instructor, trained through basically my pregnancy and the first, year and a half until the pandemic hit, focused primarily with pre and postnatal folks. So that is really where I found my calling, so to speak, and worked at several different facilities in our area. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. And really just loved being able to teach kind of that low impact, mind body connected movement, and really found a lot of effective patterns and exercises with that clientele. So that's really where I've been, where my headspace has been the last few years. Baby wearing bar is, I have an Instagram page, but honestly, since my kid outgrew the baby wearing, I don't do it anymore. So you can look up baby
you have to
wearing.
borrow somebody else's baby, and it's just not as good. And
yeah, he's 30 some pounds. Yeah, he's not as cute in the carrier, I have to say.
You're gonna be really jacked right now, though.
Right? Yeah, those back muscles, man. Anyways, that just my brief background, and really what I like to say is my experience teaching children has taught me more about how to teach adults than any other course or training I've taken, because simplifying things and speaking to where they're at, where their minds are, is more effective than lecturing any age participant, right? So when in doubt, think how you teach, never not teaching down to your people, but teaching to them at an accessible place, and really not being afraid to be vulnerable and kind of goofy, and make the analogies, make the metaphors when appropriate. So that is really where my background is. IBBFA as an organization is really the governing body for the online bar certification entity that we run. We have several different training courses. The primary one is the level 1 bar certification course, which has been online since 2014. And then we have level 2, level 3, pre and postnatal bar for special populations. And then what you mentioned earlier, Ballarobica. Ballarobica is where I'll hand it over to Lisa. She's the founder of that program, but that is really what we're most excited about in this kind of virtual setting, because it's really a great program for those that don't have a lot of equipment or any equipment or space. So that is totally accidental. We brought it under the IBBFA umbrella last fall, right before we launched it at the Bar Summit last October. And it just happens to be really great for virtual classes. So it's been doing really well, and is obviously one of my favorites to teach. And we have a lot of instructors that are really passionate about Ballarobica. It's not just for dancers, but we go through a lot more of that ballet fundamental movement than we do even just our level 1 course. So I'm handing it over to Lisa because she's the Ballarobica queen. So
I'm old. I've been trained as a group fitness instructor since the mid 90s. So now you can age me.
Me as well.
Thank you, darling. And I also, so in tandem with teaching group fitness, I've always taught ballet, and I just kind of happened to be into that. You kind of age up and start teaching as you age up. Anyway, I've been teaching ballet since I was 19 now, so it's been a long haul. But in doing so, I've managed to study the 3 different schools of ballet, and I'm actually quite proficient in all of them. So I kind of meld them all together. So anyway, you have no interest in that, but it's actually quite interesting. If anyone has questions, let me know how they all relate to each other.
And you guys are both in the group, right? People can just find you right in the group and message you?
Yeah. Beautiful. But so anyway, started Ballarobica in 2006. So this is how old it is now. And the whole point of it is I did a few DVDs, and they were okay. I get good Amazon reviews, so that's awesome. When I was like a child, but they were meant to be done like as a DVD in your house. So that's why the format translates over pretty well. But so group fitness instructor since the mid 90s, ballet instructor since I was about 19 years old, and I've been teaching ever since. And we have a studio location that we've been doing pretty much just bar fitness. Before it was even considered bar, it was ballet fitness. Since before it was known, when I was looking at retail space, I'm like, I teach bar, and they're like, what do you mean by that? Because I had no idea what it was.
Is that you were teaching bartenders?
I think so. I really do. But so anyway, we've had our space for it's our 10-year anniversary this year, and now so this is kind of what prompted this whole digital format and the virtual stuff is because I'm troubleshooting how do I have classes when we're still shut down, by the way, like we haven't been allowed.
You are in Arizona, correct? Yes.
So there's
Phoenix.
Yes, and it's hot here. It's like 1:15 right now. But so we've been shut down. It's pushing almost 4 months straight. Like we were allowed to reopen for about 6 weeks, maybe 3 to 6 weeks, and then they would shut us down again. So anyway, in the necessity of like keeping the physical studio business running, we had to bring everything live. And while we were running the live virtual classes, when we were allowed to open, we have so many people that would fall into that special populations group where they're immunocompromised or they're recovering from something or they've got an autoimmune problem. So they opted to just not come in, but they still wanted to take class with everyone and see everybody, which was cool because, we have, I'll show you the setup in a little bit, but we have everything set up to where it's like they're in class. So it was really a fun dynamic and people really liked it. And we had to go through all the tech problems, associated with that. But we figured we have a thing going now and it works. So
Love it. That is awesome. That is awesome. So with that, you guys went kind of fully online 4 months ago. Everything is shut down. So you've been doing classes from the studio, which a lot of our instructors and personal trainers are from a home studio. So we do have a few that might be using a stage at the church, or they might even be filming alone from the gym, but we don't have many that have access to a studio. I would say the vast majority do not have access to a studio.
Well, let me specify this. We've given the options to all of our staff. We have about close 17 people on staff, and only 6 of them come in to teach.
Yeah.
The rest are teaching from home. So what I did was I just sent them home with equipment and bars and like even mics so they can plug them in so that they have a space that they can kind of make their own, and in lighting, even though we've got some interesting setups at people's houses, but we can totally relate, because I didn't want people to feel uncomfortable teaching and feel like they had to come in to teach. So it's more of like a retention thing. Like I do want to retain my staff. They're very awesome people and we love them. And I want them to feel comfortable and, nothing is like forced on them. So
one of our main instructors at the studio got a job offer out of town and another like across the state. But leaving the studio would have been so devastating to so many clients like that. I imagine that would have been really heartbreaking for a lot of folks. But now she just gets to teach virtually, and long term we have this vision of her just being able to teach for us. And that's why I have this gut feeling that this is not going anywhere and that we all better get our booties in gear and figure out how to do this successfully, right? Because people want this option. And I think that, once they realize the convenience of at-home workouts, they may not want it every workout, but there are going to be some people that are needing to stay home long after any vaccine or anything like that. This is something that we're talking years.
I so completely agree with you. I'm just hearing it from my participants that they really like the option. Not even the option. They like doing it. They don't want to go back to. Now, I have seniors that I teach yoga to, and they're not interested in going back at all. They're there to stay. I would say like 4 out of 5 feel that way.
More convenient at their house and they feel safer. And that's just what it comes down to. And the other benefit that we've seen is because, one of our main instructors has moved and has been able to stay virtually. Since this started in March, we've been having our instructors that have moved throughout the years come back and teach. So one is teaching for me in Colorado right now because I'm supposed to be teaching a class. So she just logs into our site, does her thing, goes. It's really convenient for us to have people in other states that we've lost and still love to be able to keep employment.
For sure.
Well, this is an interesting discussion for me because I haven't had anybody on. I'm sure I've had studio owners on, but I haven't had anybody on that came on and talked about how they're doing a virtual schedule to replace what they were doing in person. So it's been more talking about individual instructors going online and finding their audience and that sort of thing. So tell me more. Are you guys just doing the exact same schedule, only it's being broadcast now?
It's being broadcast. You're exactly right. It's being broadcast in our time zone, but they may be on a different time zone. So we've there's a couple of schedulers we use for that, and Calendly is one of them. But we use MindBody just because we've always had it. So that has made it easy because they get the reminders and this and that. So, and it will tell them what time zone they're on. But yeah, it's been actually, like, there's a few blessings of the whole COVID pandemic. One of them is our friends and our family basically get to keep teaching for us. And scheduling hasn't really been an issue. It's actually been easier to schedule because people are out of time zones. So like when, someone's got a kid in school, we're, the other time zone kind of takes care of it for them, right? Because they're doing homeschool too.
Yeah.
That's the reality right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys are Arizona and Colorado. That's kind of the two.
And back east too. We have a couple girls that are teaching for us back east.
Okay.
So California too. Sorry.
Oh gosh, that's okay.
Right now we're
software.
Yeah, one of our main instructors moved to California right at the beginning of the pandemic, and she just had a baby, so we're giving her a break. But she's in the meantime has taught a couple classes in a pinch because something happened and we needed coverage or whatever.
Yeah. And so the software that you guys are using is MindBody
for the scheduling software. Yeah.
For the schedule, and then is it Zoom for the classes?
Yep.
Zoom for the classes. Gotcha. And then all of your communication is through email that comes out of MindBody?
No, we actually have a Facebook group.
Okay.
That we have, it's a private instructor group that we post in and coverages and, verify the schedule, the whole thing. So we have
for instructors.
Instructors.
But student facing, all communication is through.
Okay. Oh, I love that. So you have a private Facebook group that you use for your instructors. That's really cool.
Yep, it works really well, and everyone's on it pretty much for the most part. Yeah, and then we just lost another instructor that went to Washington to go teach it somewhere in Olympia, I believe.
Yeah.
We're both from the Northwest. Anyway.
You guys that are watching live, I would love for you to throw up some comments and questions, because for me, this is fascinating because, like I said, I haven't gotten to really hear about it from the studio perspective that much. And I think the vast majority of our members are furloughed or, they're doing their own thing. They're not, I don't hear from as many that are still associated with their gym right now. They're kind of like trying to find their own audience.
I got hired on at a big box that was under construction for 2 years. Opened 6 months after its slated open date. I taught 1 week of classes and then everything got shut down. And it's hard. It was a personal choice for me. They were taking a few instructors back. They wanted me to come back, and I'm living with my in-laws right now so that I have some childcare. But the flip side of that is that then I don't want to put them at risk, right? So the folks that are going to the gym are not necessarily the folks that I need to expose myself to, right?
Yeah.
And it was such a new relationship with myself and that business that I just didn't really feel comfortable going in. I knew that I had the option to teach remotely by myself in an isolated space where I was at already. So it didn't really make sense for me to go back. And I feel like a lot of folks, yes, there are a lot of people that are on the flip side, dying to go back, want to be in person and really cannot see themselves doing the virtual side of things. We all just have to have such a flexible mindset with all of this, because I think things are going to change 12 more times before we see any sort of resolution. So
I agree.
It's frustrating and hard, and I'm so heartbroken. And I spent so much time working up to that opening and seeing my future there, and I was going to be able to take my kid to the pool and do all these things. And it's just one of those things where and I know a lot of folks. The furloughs was that through 24 hour, or the It's just so hard. And I guess one thing I would say to those people is reach out to your former studio owners, reach out to your former favorite studios. Maybe you've gotten certified since you were taking classes back home or when you were in college, and that your studio owners want to hear from you. And if you're saying, hey, I'm interested to be a virtual sub, that's a really cool thing for a studio owner to hear. So I think that could be a really good solution for some folks that are furloughed from large organizations that want to maybe network and branch out to those smaller studios and facilities.
Great one. That's a great point. So today in the boot camp, my let me back up. My Sell Out Your Online Workout boot camp is going on right now. And so today we were talking about casting a wider net and finding more of your peeps. And we talked about partnership, and that's an interesting option for partnership as well, because there are studios and gyms who aren't able to really do anything for their offering right now, or for their participants and their members right now. And so reaching out and offering partnership could be a good option for both involved.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because the girls that are teaching for me also have their own studios, that they teach at in their spots. Well, sometimes they need subs, and I've subbed a few classes for them too. So it goes both ways. Like, the partnership doesn't have to be all one-sided or all controlled by one dominant, studio or facility.
Yeah.
It can go both ways, and it's fun to see new faces and see what.
I love that you said that, because I've been saying that that if you teach online for yourself, that you should probably avoid teaching for your old gym or another studio, because it could muddy the water. But you're saying that you have made it work, and made it work on both ends.
Yep.
Yeah, I think
have a great vibe and a great attitude about this thing. These kind
she
of
taught a class last week that had both. She was a co-teacher, everybody was in a different location.
What a beautiful transition to tandem teaching.
Let's do it. Tell us about it.
Okay, so
real pro right here,
I know, fit pro, let me tell you. So last week I have been experimenting at our studio for many years, actually, with a foam rolling class, and I teach a very restorative stretch class that's very like dance-based stretching. So I started incorporating some foam rolling.
Nice.
Well, the other instructor teaches something called progressing ballet technique, which my viewers may know, but it's not intended as a fitness class. It's intended as a dance conditioning class. But when we offer it at our studio, our fitness people absolutely love it. They've never felt their deep core muscles work as hard. My inner thighs, when I take it, are on fire the whole time. It just fires things in a different way. It's such a great class. If you see it, it's called PBT for short. If you see a class available, snatch it up.
It's amazing. It's like Pilates on crack.
Very, very mindful, slow, intentional movement. Awesome. With a big stability ball. So we did a fusion class, an hour, 15 minutes. We did like 35 minutes of the PBT toning, and then 35, 40 minutes of the foam rolling. So it was a really nice, and so we just had, the co-host, we had the PBT instructor as the lead on the Zoom session for that first portion, and then we switched it over. I just shared the music internally on Zoom for the whole session. So she had her microphone as her audio for the first half, and then, turned her microphone off. And then I was the spotlighted video for the second half. And everyone was just able to watch everything on gallery view. I participated as the student, which is something as a studio culture we cannot recommend enough. Like, that's something that you should be doing as an instructor, is taking other people's classes. And so to just have it built into what we were already doing with two instructors was so special. And it was the fullest class I've taught in the pandemic. I think we had.
And we had a few different states. So it was like they were both in different states. And then we had that East Coast people joining in. So we're, like you said, we're casting a large net, not intentionally, but we are like accidental large net casting.
So give us kind of your top maybe tips on teaching tandem online.
So, well, for one, it's something that we recommended and still recommend for our instructors. We kind of call it like a round robin, and it's actually an exercise we do in our level 1 training. We've been doing webinars to kind of go along with the course content, but it's something that we do to kind of practice that creativity, practice getting the juices flowing. When things were normal, remember back in the day, we would have
back in the good old days.
The good old days. We would post in that instructor group for the studio, hey, let's do an instructors only class. And everyone come in and just round robin. You teach the warm up, you teach arms, and you can just hop in and out. That would be 5, 6 instructors or whatever. Mm-hmm. The golden nugget out of that was that you got to see how other people were teaching, and it made you think critically about what you were going to offer next, right? It forced you as the instructor to think about what was already being presented and what you could fill in the gaps with. Mm-hmm. And so for that, I think it's a really valuable tool in a small group setting. Maybe if you've got a group of peers, right, from your boot camp or whatever, a group of folks that you can just kind of kick the can around with, not have the pressure of a live class. You can just teach and say, all right, you take over. And then it gives you that chance for your brain to kind of decompress so that you're not teaching 45, 60 minutes straight. You get to teach 10, 15 minutes and then pull back and then pull out from other people. So my first tip is to practice without paying participants, without any pressure. Just hop on a Zoom with a few other instructors and say, all right, we're going to give each other class. That's something that I know is really common first. And so I think we just kind of plucked that from that dance culture and made it part of the studio culture. But I think it's really, really beneficial. It gets the habit of kind of sharing the mic, so to speak, when you're doing it for real as a tandem instructor. But it's fun. I always encourage people to take other people's classes, but money's tight, right? Like you're teaching to make money, not necessarily to pay for classes. And so if you have that opportunity to work with someone else and get that kind of partnership and just play, that kind of sensation of play going, it's playing. Have a great time.
I love that. That's really good. I think when we teach, we're in a completely different brain space than when we take a class, and mixing those two could also just make things different. Just
creative. I'm like, oh, she did this and this, so what can I do next? And then I'll take like a version of what she did, maybe a certain pattern, and then I'll apply it to something else.
Oh yes, yeah, that's fantastic. Really good tip. Love it.
Yeah, we talked to. In the bar certification course that we offer through IBBFA, we talk a lot about, you can go in with the kind of the bones of a class, but that you need that flexibility, and that practice is hard to do on your own, right? You know that, like, you can't just fly by the seat of your pants if you're just doing practice classes by yourself. You actually need some people to give you feedback, whether they actually say, well, that was good or that didn't work or whatever. You can see it on other people and actually experience that for the feedback, right? So it's something.
Body language and face.
Yes. What are you doing? Yeah. Yep. Even over the virtual screens, right? It's so obvious when things are not working. But yeah, I think if find 2 or 3 other folks, like get your set every Sunday afternoon, you guys are going to do your play session or whatever. And then that's where these ideas happen, where you're like, oh my gosh, I could partner with Sarah. She does spin for 30 minutes and then I do a bar and stretch for another 25. And boom, we have this incredible class. It doesn't require your brain to be on for those 55 minutes. You get to pull back, but it offers so much more value to the participants when you can partner up and simultaneously teach, right?
Beautiful. So tell me about tip number 2.
Yeah, tip number 2. This is hard for us because music is so embedded in our training through dance that it's something that we really try to teach. We've got webinars and different trainings on musicality too, but you should be so comfortable with music. You want to be working up to this point where you could turn it on shuffle, you could turn it on Pandora, and be able to accommodate to whatever music is playing. Now, are most instructors there right off the bat, or 4 or 5 years down the line teaching? Probably not, but it's something that you want to strive for. So that's why changing up your playlist regularly, even just as an instructor teaching normal classes, is so important, because you don't want to get stuck teaching to the same music, just changing one song in your playlist and just getting getting used to doing the same movement to music for so many different reasons, scientifically and just, appeal and interest wise. But one of the things that I think works well when I am, envisioning tandem teaching is that it's just one instructor putting the playlist together. One other thing you can do is on Spotify, do a collaborative playlist. So you can just send the playlist link to the other instructor or instructors and just have folks kind of pull it in. You still really kind of need one person to lead, to organize it all so that it flows nicely. But there are kind of different ways to do that. When Lisa and I tandem teach, it is, I do the playlist and she just goes with it. And that works really well because I know she knows music like the back of her hand. Like, it doesn't matter whether she's heard the song or not. She knows the patterns and expectations of general pop exercise music that it's pretty easy to follow along. But that's like high level. Like I said, I don't expect folks that just have a group fitness or bar certification to be able to do that right off the bat. But don't let music kind of fall to the wayside. If that's something you're really passionate about, make listening to music part of your job, right? Like, listen to music that you would teach to while you're driving. That's probably not what you're used to, right? Like, for a long time, it was like Mumford and Sons and Jason Mraz while I'm driving because I wanted to be calm. Once I started putting my playlists on my way to teaching, it was like game changer for me. I was like, oh yes, I'm in the headspace. I'm ready to go. Right now we're not driving, so you have to do it while you're doing your chores.
My car goes nowhere anymore.
What's that?
My car goes nowhere anymore.
I know.
Poor car.
I used to listen to things, but I don't.
I know.
I'm like, Pandora, thank you.
Right. Anyhow, that's tip number 2 is make listening and sourcing music part of your job. And I will tell you, I am not someone that spends even an hour putting a playlist together for a class. But that's because I've been practicing it for so long and I know what instructors I can steal from. I know if I go to my friend Hallie's Spotify account, I know she's going to have great songs in her warm-up and I'll source those and throw them in.
Thousands of playlists. We just steal them.
Right. So I know.
Great artist steal.
Yes, exactly. Right. And especially when it comes to playlists, because no two playlists are going to be the same. They're all going to flow for your style and everything. So I guess that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is that you really need to be.
Well, you need to be in frame. Like, you need to know your technology. So the other day I did an on-demand and my whole, like, from my head up was all chopped off. So I had no arms. So I had to redo the whole stupid thing.
Oh my goodness. And so
see that far away. It's like, my eyes are going bad in my old age. But anyway, yeah, I had no arms. So I had to refilm the whole stupid on-demand video to get arms again.
Oh my goodness. That is a nightmare.
Bad things about people, doing not necessarily tandem classes, but just classes in general, where they can only see like from here, your chest area. We've had people submit videos that we only see legs. Like, you have to be aware of what your people are seeing.
So make sure both instructors are in frame.
Exactly. And then well lit too, because if there's shadows and stuff, it's hard to see the smaller details, because Zoom, if you're using Zoom as that format, the quality is not fantastic, on that digital level. So
I'll pull in sorry, I hit the table. I'll pull in our presentation table, presenter stand.
Oh,
see this.
So fancy.
And the computer goes here.
Computer goes here. An HDMI, of course, adapter, and you can see the ring light.
You can see the ring light.
This guy is how we make, especially our ballet classes, but how we make all classes work. Just being able to see your participants on this screen rather than this screen.
And you can read the chat too, so you can see if they can't hear something,
yes,
or if they want something different.
For at-home instructors, you don't need this fancy setup. This is really awesome.
It was actually pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, but just hooking it up to your TV area, right? The other thing is your speakers on your TV are probably better than your built-in ones anyway. So worst case scenario, you can always just utilize that through HDMI.
And then we've got 2 hookups to where we can put on an additional iPod for on-demand. So we're filming the class for on-demand as well. Because we found that the Zoom videos weren't great as far as quality goes. So the sound and the lighting and the actual clarity of video is much better.
So what you're doing is you're broadcasting to Zoom, but you're also recording using a separate device so that the recording quality is better than if you had pulled it off of your Zoom broadcast.
We have been telling folks with the mini course for virtual classes to start recording your classes immediately, like in April, because you want to have a backlog of classes and even just snippets of your classes that you can utilize for if and when you decide to do an on-demand library. It's something that Lisa at her studio has been doing long before.
Since 2013.
Yeah.
I had a library. It just never got posted.
Really? Right. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
You want to see me looking really young? No.
Pre-baby.
I'll do a Snapchat. Pretty bad at that.
So, and the Zoom's recording is fine, right? But it doesn't lend itself to something that someone might want to pay for as a on-demand class. And if you have your sound set up, which we can talk about if you want to, but if you have your sound set up so that it's projecting music well, the iPod or old iPhone microphone picks up those sounds fine. You don't need anything more than that for a separate device like that. It's these dang computers that don't have good enough embedded speaker or microphones.
So tell us about that. I want to hear about sound quality as well. I loved the tips for the tandem teaching. Those are so valuable. And if you see me typing, it's because I'm noting them and putting them up in the comments. So we kind of did dancer test dummy scenario all of March and April, and still have some, there are still some things because most of our instructors are teaching on their laptops, really have been working with things that plug in really well with USB. Most of our devices are MacBooks or Apple computers. So there are some considerations with other devices that we just haven't even covered really.
Allison's using a normal computer.
It's usually easier if you're not using a Mac. Let's just say that.
More plugins. Hers actually has an HDMI plugin, so it's easier for her. We had to get adapters for the Mac.
Our favorite devices are the ones that are a single USB plug and play. I'll lift up the microphone we're using now just so you can see, but it's going to obviously make our sound weird. This guy here is just on like a 5 or 6 foot cord and just plugs straight into the USB. When you're in your meeting, you select that as your microphone. It really is great. It gets us most of the way there. The reason we don't always love wearing wearable headsets is because, there are 2 reasons. One is just simply sanitation purposes, right? Yes, we only have one instructor in the studio at a time, but are they cleaning and sanitizing everything every single class? We don't know, right? Yes, we hope so because we love them all and we all take care of each other. But in theory, yes, but we just can't know for sure. And because it's so close to proximity of the mouth and the spray and all the things, the droplets, it's just a cause for
10 years ago, I was calling the head mic the respiratory infection distribution system.
Yes.
Because nobody sanitized it. I was the only one that brought little, I would bring those little alcohol squares and sanitize it. And I was the only one.
Yeah.
But when I started doing that, you stopped seeing the emails. What's that?
Did you have to bring your own batteries too?
Oh, yes. But when I started sanitizing at least every couple of days when I was there, you stopped seeing the emails going around that said, I have a respiratory infection. Can you?
Amazing. One small step for headsets, one giant step for fitness instructors.
I opted to not use the mic and just belt it out because I usually had my batteries would all go within a week or two. And I'm like, I'm tired of providing.
You didn't have Amazon subscriptions back in the day. You couldn't get batteries delivered every week.
I know. So anyways, that's why we like that kind of stationary microphone. And obviously, if you're doing this at home by yourself, a wearable mic is great, but a way higher price point. The barrier to entry for a wearable microphone that we actually like and recommend, this the Samson Airline is honestly from probably 2013.
It's old.
It's still the best one out there. Like, I truly do think it's this one or bust. I'm not a fan of lapel mics because the bumping and the movement is just too distracting for me as a participant or just watching myself back.
So Samsung Air.
It's Samson, Samson, and then Airline. There's another part of it. It's like Airline Mini or Airline Pro or something like that. But this guy's great. So this.
Did you get that from fitnessmics.com?
No, but I know it's on there. It's often sold out on Amazon, but I saw it on Fitness. What did you say? Fitness Mics and AV Now. I've seen it on both of those. So this is the receiver here, and it can be unplugged from this base or not. And this is it. This is the equipment you need. It's just these two things. There's no wearable battery packs. You wear this on your ear, and that's it. And the only
on the ear.
Yes,
it's
so
ear
it's just
hook.
like we call it.
Like that.
Yeah, it really is nice. You know, it's not super snug, so depending on your ear shape, it could be a little wiggly. But the only other thing you need is just this little adapter for MacBooks. Again, this is not a problem for. I'm trying to change my angle, but it's a USB too, and then it has a mic in and output. And the MacBooks don't have the mic in single plug, so you need this as like an $8 adapter.
It's not an auxiliary, by the way. It's
could they make it any more complicated? Right. Are there a lot of viewers? I needed my tech friends to show me this difference, but the like 3 lines on this are my headphones, and this 1 line is the microphone. So you need an adapter for anything that has this just 1 line. It's not a 3.5 millimeter. That's probably review for some of you guys, I'm sure. But let me tell you, Dancer Test Dummy had to figure that out the hard way before there was information all over YouTube.
Yeah, no, this is all really great because like I said, user testing, you know, I know what I know, but I only teach yoga at home. I'm not teaching in the gym at all. So just yoga. And so, yes, hearing it from somebody who is having to move around a little bit more is great.
Definitely. The other thing that I learned, and I'm all about sharing knowledge, and I know we said we weren't going to spend too much time talking about all the things, but one other thing that I learned the hard way is if you just happen to have, or if you know someone that just has like a studio microphone lying around, so like a sound recording studio, they have all my props. They have one of these XLR. It's like that 3-pronged attachment. I'll show you here. This obviously does not go into your computer. There is not an outlet for something like that, right? Yep. There is a USB adapter cord, so you can get it with this side to a USB. There's a caveat. Just plugging the USB into your computer is not enough. It needs to be plugged into phantom power. So you have, So I
didn't know this.
I'm not happy right now. Wow, it's a lot.
If you have a device that you want to try to make work, message me and I will tell you all the things I know.
So what you're saying is that if it has 3 prongs, it also has to have power. You can't just plug it into them.
It has to have a separate power pack. It's called Phantom Power. And it took me about 2 weeks to figure that out because it's not obvious in the descriptions of the mics.
So that one microphone has 3 cords. One from the microphone to the Phantom Power, one from the Phantom Power to the USB, and one from the Phantom Power to the wall. It has to be plugged into
but the but is that you can get a 20-foot cord on that guy and you can take it around a studio with you if you need to.
Right.
So
gotcha. Okay, I'm typing this out for people to read.
The reason why I think the microphone speaker thing has been so frustrating for folks is that there's not one set answer, right? What you need for yoga is not what we need for ballet aerobica. It's not even what I need for a stretch and tone class, right? Like the needs of what we're teaching are very different. And so there's not a one size fits all. And that makes it really frustrating if you don't know someone that's tested all the things.
Wow.
There's another one from Samson is truly the brand that I trust the most, Samson. They have another one that's called the Go Mic, and it's like an inch. It's like 2 inches. It's so cute, but it's just a mini studio condenser, and honestly, it would do a great job.
It was like $50. It's Amazon next day delivery.
I think when John from Fitness Mike's was on, he recommended both of those as well. Although his house brand is Mazuka, and we get a discount on Mazuka as Fit Pros Connect.
Amazing.
But he did recommend those. What's that?
I said, take all the discounts. Yes.
We love the discounts. We love the discounts. If anybody wants to come partner, if anybody's got a brand of equipment and they want to come partner with Fit Pros Connect, we will take the discounts all day long. So I love finding discounts that I can offer back out to the group.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. So much great information. This has been so great. I took down so many notes here. They're in the comments. So there's like pro tips. There's 1, 2, 3 on the teaching tandem. And I'm going to pepper these back out as content and polls and different things for the instructors over the next few weeks. So you guys, so helpful. Thank you.
I hope we were helpful.
Like yes. Tell us what you have coming up that we can fill up for you and help get some eyeballs on.
So a few things. One is that we wrote a mini course for our certified instructors. And when we put it out to our instructors, they said, well, we mentioned bars, but it's all relevant, right? All of these things that we talked about today are all in there. And it's available for purchase. I think we have a discount for you on that. I can't remember what.
I think we sent it to you.
Yes, I'm copying it right now. I'm going to stick it in here. So I've got the link right here. I'm putting it in the comments.
Instructors teach other types of fitness too. So we made sure that it was relevant for, like you were saying, spin, yoga, Pilates, you name it.
Right.
It's basically, you can kind of pick and choose. The one thing we do recommend is that you do test like your method out before you go live.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. We've
and then the other thing I was going to say that we started offering, because we realized that one of our main recommendations for instructors, newly certified instructors, is that they go take class, that they didn't actually have classes to take, right? So we offer community classes right now. It's every Wednesday. Every once in a while, we'll peppermint on the weekends when we have master instructors available. But those are all taught for free by our master instructors. We try to do a piece of equipment focus because we have a lot of questions about how to utilize equipment at home, but all small pieces of equipment. So loop bands, balls.
I used a towel yesterday in lieu of a ball because 2 of my people didn't have balls with them. The other people did. And so I'm like, well, let's just use a towel. So we wrapped up the towel and that was our ball. And it worked well.
Yeah.
So,
how do instructors find those community classes?
So it's, can I throw it in the chat in here? Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Do we have a chat option?
I
guess we do. If you throw it in there.
It's our link in bio on Instagram. So go follow Bar Certification on Instagram, and it's the link in bio to sign up for free classes.
You guys, where do you see the chat? I don't see a chat. So new to StreamYard. I've only been using it for a month, as you can tell.
It's to the right of the screen, but I'm not even logged in, so I don't know if it would work, but it's
private chat. I see it. Okay, put it there and I will copy it into the comments.
Oh, there's a comma instead of a period. Hold on.
No, you know what I do is I need to wear glasses, and so you can see when I go to type something, I'm like this is not attractive. I really got to get some contacts going on here.
I'm going to triple check this before I send it. Hold on.
Okay. Please do. This is so helpful. And I think that you're going to get we've got a lot of bar instructors in the group. And
so
definitely
kickboxing and other stuff too. So it's not just bar. We just wrote this for our bar people
in the comments.
And then we're like, it's kind of for everybody. So.
Right. The other thing is we get a lot of folks before they sign up for our program asking what an IBBFA class is like. And that's kind of why we brought these community classes to the table too, is because there's not one style. You're not going to find Michaela's bar class as your mandatory style for bar certification, right? We really want it to be steal the ideas that work for you, pepper in your own ideas. We have so many yoga and bar instructors that really don't teach a straight bar class. They add some flow to it. One of our master instructors is developing one right now for virtual classes. And that's the whole point, right? We don't want it to be, as I think I hammered home, that we don't want it to be a set choreographed, pre-choreographed class. And bar is so important for that more than some other styles and formats, because it's so mind body connected. It's so much about alignment and posture and what the participants are doing that you can't just teach a blank slate, right? You have to be flexible with what the students bring to the table. And so that's why, I mean, we throw these community classes so that you can kind of see that every class is going to be different. All of our master instructors have different styles and are, you know, hopefully just to inspire folks, but it's just fun to have people.
Spark creativity.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome, y'all. Thank you so much. I have posted the link to the mini training in the comments. I've posted the link to the community classes that happen on Wednesdays that are equipment-based and free to instructors.
Yep. Free to everybody.
Bring your friends. Yeah.
Oh, love it. I need some bar in my life for sure.
30-minute class just in case there's questions, but it's like a sampler.
I love it. I love it. So you guys, so helpful. Thank you. I so appreciate you being here.
Well, we're happy to have, I mean, thank you for inviting us on, and
yes.
Hopefully we're helping some people, and we do have a lot of audio tips, so message us if you have any questions.
I love that. Thank you. I'm sure you're going to get tagged in some questions in the group.
It's sometimes nicer to hear it explained from a fellow instructor than a tech professional, right? That's been my experience.
I found that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, Fit Pros, thank you for being here. That is what we've got for you today. Next week, we're going to continue with the bar theme, and we're going to have the newly announced IFPA Trainer of the Year on with us. And Trisha Murphy-Madden, her name just went like out of my head. I think I panicked for a second. Trisha Murphy-Madden, who is amazing, and we're going to be so excited to talk to her. You guys, what else do you need to know right now?
We're doing the virtual bar summit this year. So we've done this a couple of years together. So we're excited to see her again.
Yes, Bar Above. She's excellent. She's excellent. As are you guys. And the boot camp is going on right now. You can still register for that. That's at fitprosconnect.com/bootcamp. That's to sell out your online workout boot camp. We don't go as deep into audio and teaching tandem and some of the other things as Lisa and Michaela did today. So this has been a great addition to that content. We are talking about the simplest way to get online and then how to expand your groups. And I think that is everything as far as housekeeping I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, one more thing. So no Fit Pros show on Thursday anymore. We are going to once a week, and we're doing that so that I can take that time and work on creating a podcast as that second broadcast that I do every week. So, okay, y'all. Thank you for sticking in through the housekeeping items there.
Always. Thanks so much for having us.
We follow you. No. We know.
I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Kelly. It's been fun.
See you soon.
Yeah, definitely.